Okay, so I think this is working. This is my first YouTube stream, so bear with me on this one. But I think it is working. Although that being said, I think I need to put you aside really quickly, as I need to set this up here. And then a new. And then these. Okay, there we go. Boop. There we go. This is, of course, I need to shuffle all my stuff around. Oh, God. I've been getting better at organizing my desk. It is still not great. Not gonna lie to you. Let's see. I'm going to... First of all, we're not drawing containers. This is fine. We're doing something different. I don't know what we're going to be doing yet, but we're doing something different. Let me share this on my Discord server real quick. Which also requires that I find this link. Oh, that's a double. But that's all right. Oh, fuck, that was my pen. Everything is falling apart. So we have... decided to stream game dev related stuff on YouTube instead of Twitch, because that makes sense. Come and hang out. We're drawing fan art. Not fan art. We're drawing concept art. There you go. That's shared. Stream's current bitrate is lower than the recommended rate. Okay, okay. Set up my settings. Cannot change these when you're live. That makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense. Well, it seems to be good now. Okay, fair enough. All right. But yeah, I've been starting to work on a new video game, and I go into this one with the idea of this is not what it is working. There we are. Yeah, you can hear me. Okay. I've been going into this with more of the idea of finding a strong visual identity for the game right from the get-go, instead of trying to build it as we go. And so that is what we're going to be trying in these streams. This is not the 11th. Well, this is the 11th. It's not the 13th. It is the That's not the right color. It is the 14th. There we go. Excellent. So I've been thinking about a few things that we could potentially use. Like once we actually get going with stuff, I think we're good. I'm just gonna look at some power poles, and we're gonna work off of that. I'm gonna look at some reference and see if I can play in that space. Actually, I have a better idea. Instead of doing that, we can just worry about let's talk about windmills, or let's look at windmills. Let's draw windmills, because windmills are fun. And I do feel like windmills will take a place in the game, though not a... Well, maybe kind of a primary one. I've not really talked much about the game itself. I kind of want it to be a cross of My Summer Car and... Wait, does that make sense? This is the line... of My Summer Car and kind of like Firefly, maybe? In a vibe kind of way. So this is the line here, and then we have the same line here. Doesn't make sense that they would go in different directions now, does it? So we'd have to have it here-ish, and then here-ish. No, I like to start, when I do concept artist, I like to start doing it just the rough shapes. Really build the shapes out. And I think for this it makes sense to just bring it down like that. And then maybe could see like some fun like ropes kind of implemented in this. The big question is what my scale for this is. And also I think I want these shapes to be significantly larger and to be easier to read. So just make those really big, you know. And then but I will go behind here, which is fine. We can always resize that. That is not the issue. Then of course this makes very little sense. I would also have to decide on a shape, wouldn't I? Like, do we want this kind of shape? I think we do. Let's get rid of our cabling for now then. And also this. We just want, for clarity's sake, I want to bring all of this together, and then no, cancel. Wait, is this on the same? Fuck. Oh boy. Okay, that's stupid. Okay, we're good. That was my stupid mistake. We do not want that there, of course. We want that in its own layer. Now we're gonna have to do all of that again. Yippee. So, you know what? I'm just gonna start over. Fuck it. We're gonna have a central shaft. And I think I'm gonna put this into perspective a bit better this time. If I have to redo it anyway, so we can just have like a thing here, like a cylinder. And then from here, I'm gonna do these in small, like you would with a ruler. We are allowed to do that. We may do that. Although, do I want that? I don't know. What kind of shape do I want for these wings? Because I am thinking kind of something that is slightly leaf-like. Something like this. And then we bring in like this. Just make it a little. No, it has to be bigger. It has to be more like that. There's a bit of overlap that I could probably do better. Also feel like this isn't really central. Kind of is. Can I just... I mean, this could easily be fixed if we just do this. And then this. And then this. Although this line is off anyways. There we go. And now I'm thinking of just like doing this. Although that also doesn't make much sense. Maybe 4. 4 could work. We could do like a fun little swept wing. Yeah, I think that'll be fun. So that way we have like the dual. We basically get like another layer of complexity for free, more or less. If we do this, right, because these of course then will be filled in. And a little detailed. But that's a good shape. That's a good shape, and that's what matters in the beginning at the very least. Right, and then we bring like from there, stand down. Can even have our ropes back, because I like the idea of ropes used to like fasten this thing up. And then maybe have like 1 or 2 ropes that are just dangling in the wind, that aren't connected to anything anymore. Right, so now we put a layer on top of that. We go to our mechanical pencil and we just bring in some lines. We make this a more concrete thing. This would be where the pivot of the whole idea is. So my idea was to basically have like solid rods that kind of form this situation. And then basically have little what's the word? Little, well, basically have this here be like a string, so this is connected to like, not hooks, rings. Right, you pierce a ring through there, you pierce a ring through here. Bish bash bosh, you put a rope in between. Don't worry too much about the logistics of fastening that just yet. And then you could potentially have just like, it wouldn't even have to be a ring really, it could just be basically you just have steel tubes and then you drill holes into your steel tubes. Right. And then you have one ring here. This ring I will keep as a conceptual thing, because then you go just back and forth between those holes. And that ring. And you essentially just apply different size of like fabrics to that. And bang, you might have something that could be considered like a wind turbine. Like, you don't want it to be too perfect. Or at least I don't want that to be too perfect. Although this in particular might just be almost too much information. Like too much visual information. So we might just end up not going into too much detail there and just taking this as it is and basically just turning each like not considering the actual logistics of how it is attached. Unless maybe sometimes for like this would be going through anyways. Maybe sometimes for like a for a detail like this, like you just get that's not right. Me and drawing cloth, my favorite thing. I'm not very good at it. Just kind of have to. It's almost like hair in a way, cloth. So you start by laying down your shape. Let's actually do that. Let's try and do it like hair. You lay down your shape. And then you cut into it. Yeah, this is actually working. Okay. Very cool. This could be more distinct. It's a bit even. You can also do. You can cut into it and you can add. There we go. Like this could be just a blown out cloth panel there, and then we just bring the rest. Like we let it. We let that break our silhouette a little bit, and then we go back to our panels. I do like that. I do like that idea quite a lot. Right. And then we basically just grab this without the broken part. Because we are inherently a little bit lazy. Right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna let the broken part be full and fixed. Whole again. Right, this can also be one panel. And this too. Right, different layer. We need to merge them at the end of this. Pen, please. Just gotta make sure this is lined up. That's neat. Okay. Oop, there we go. And then we basically do the same thing, I guess. Yeah. Wait. Oh, I fucked this up. Okay, we're gonna merge these two layers together. You can't see what I'm doing right now, but trust me, I'm doing it. And then we're just gonna duplicate. And do... No, wait. Not that. I keep forgetting that... Am I a huge fan of that? Well, for starters, I'm not a big fan of this, obviously, but that we can just make go away. Where's my P key? There's my P key. Mechanical pencil, just kind of somehow close this off. It doesn't really matter. There we go. Because now we're gonna reduce these down to a single layer too. Merge selected layers. And then we're just gonna very primitively squash this down. Oh, actually, are we? Yes, we are. Just a little bit. And then, of course, we're gonna rework this to have some dimension to it. And now we're gonna go in and we're gonna change our silhouette. Right, because the silhouette isn't the end all be all of these. We use it to establish our shapes. And then we use it to like double check our shapes. Or at least that's what I use. If I'm speaking like I'm coming from a place of authority. I'm not. I don't know what I'm doing. But we're gonna figure this out together. So this is also... No, wait. It would be like... There we go. Gonna cut off some of the shape there. And then we're gonna give this bit shape. And then we're gonna go back into our pencil drawings. Interesting. Oh well. We're gonna continue to the pencil, and we're gonna give this some shape. And this. And there we go. And then we just do these as kind of like cables. And this can kind of loosely hang around. There we go. Although I don't like how this intersects with that line, I think I'm going to take that out of the shape for now. And we're going to see if we actually need it in the end of it. Going to do some pencil lines there. Just kind of imply a little bit of texture when we can. Now, these are the parts that are kind of important to me, like how is this actually mounted? So I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna imply a bigger connecting piece. And then like something like this. So it would be like, yeah, like that. Actually would go even further, wouldn't it? Would be something like this. Yeah, I think that works. So let's adjust the shape again. Make sure we fill this kind of stuff out, just so it looks solid. I am not sure about these cables. I think I have a different idea. Because as it is right now, like just this, I think it needs another layer at least. And we're gonna do that. We're gonna take a slightly lighter gray. And we're gonna have like something here. Well, these secondary shapes are always fun to do. Yeah, and then we're gonna I'm gonna have to look this up actually how these work. But I believe they're literally just like, yeah. Just like a little this, and then another one of these, and then just a tip. It's close enough to approximate the kind of shape that we're going for here. And then I think I'm gonna go into the proper and like add kind of in perspective, or hopefully in perspective, but you know what I mean. Add another one of these. And that'll connect up. I am going to, was it this one? Yes. I'm going to make you a little bit darker, not that much. That's better. That reads as background. There we go. And then we can go into here. can grab a pencil. We can kind of create a little something like this here. And that goes into here. Like so. There we go. And then we have just basically a board that sits on top. Like this. Bring that in, create a little Christmas tree shape of like the whatever this is. I genuinely have no idea what they're called, but they're there to like isolate or something, insulate even. Do a little bit of ruler work. Not in the sense that this is actual like technical rulers on the software, but like this kind of stuff that you would use a ruler for in real life. Just straight lines is what I mean by that. No. There we go. And this would probably also have to be separate. And then again, our little friend here. There we go. A little ceramic body. And then we can just, I think I might even do that with a pen. You can just pull like wires. I put them on a different layer, I think, just for clarity's sake. Right, we do this and then we delete the parts that would be obstructed, which is most of it, but that works. And then we just bring this around like back down the thing somehow. I don't know. I don't care about the specifics here. It just has to look somewhat not shit. There we go. It looks somewhat not shit. I take it. I'm in airbrush mode. I don't want to have an airbrush. I like my textured brushes with a little bit of stuff going on in the background that gives it slight variation. Okay, so we do have this now. Let's give it a little bit of shade. Let's give it a soft light overlay and then just dark, because that's often useful to have just to give it a little bit of depth. I want that to alpha clip and also be like, I don't know, 50% or so. 60 is fine. And we're just gonna chuck a few lines in here. I think I do want to at least get like the rougher chunks out of the silhouette there. Like the details don't matter. This is concept art. It is, and it is genuinely for me to find the style. Like I don't already. I have something in mind, which is what I'm basing this off, but not like. I don't have like a fully formed vision that I want to formalize. I need to actually like find. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Let's group that. There we go. Like I'm actually still looking for a lot of details regarding this. There we go. We can definitely know that this is in shadow. I think it's fair to say that the shadow goes about halfway up the structure or thereabouts. That's usually how cylinders work. There we go. So we can also put this into shade. I'm gonna blur this a little bit. There we go. Very like the sun is high on the horizon kind of deal. In terms of these, we can always give them a little bit more depth by doing that. Bottom of these sails would also be slightly saggy. Actually, we'll probably go something like this, wouldn't it? Just like as the cloth itself kind of bends in. I don't know if this is right, but I take it, I guess. We're just gonna very roughly imply and hopefully nobody looks any closer at it. I'm genuinely not entirely sure how I should go about constructing the shadows here. But hey, this will help the game design itself. It is also meant to help me develop as an artist a little bit more. So it's a win-win, I would say. Oh yeah, this needs to be fully blacked out because that's like a look into the wing itself, and then we have this. This would be where a shadow is, and then like down here a little bit and here a little bit. And actually, let's reconstruct that. So like this would be definitely in shadow, although this a little less. And then we'd have this is a little bit in shadow, and this is a little bit in shadow. And we have some shadows here. And this is fine. We'd have a little bit of shadow here. And a little bit here. Presumably. Yeah, and then here we already have that. Wonderful. Let's do the same thing for this one real quick. Though this one wouldn't be, there would be some here just from the bending of the material. And then you'd have some here and some here. A little bit here. This would be in shadow because it's the inside. And then you'd still have a little bit of shadow here and a little here and a little through here. And I think this one is too extreme. We can just do like a little bit of shadow here. And yeah, a little here. That's true. And there you go. Can Put a little bit here. And this should be fine. Actually, there should be a little bit of shadow here. And then also here. And here, because this is kind of like, we don't just have drop shadows, we also have object shadows. I am going to slightly imply... Oh god, this geometry is all over the place. It would be like here would be roughly where like the edge of the generator would be, wouldn't it? Like roughly there. It doesn't quite add up. We fucked up the geometry a little bit. But hey, learning. So this is definitely one of our attempts, which I'm gonna group. There we go. We can also write down what this is now. So this is today, and we have wind. No. I am trying to like I've seen a video about handwriting and drawing. And I've been trying to like implement some insight from that into my work, and I do that by like writing this kind of strong uppercase style, at least for documenting everything regarding this project. So you'll see that a lot once I start getting into the actual videos. So I do want a second option here, right? I do want a second variation here, for sure. I just don't know. It's also apparently kind of lagging out every once in a while, which is a shame. Is that really the best? It should stream up to 1080p, and it does. Okay, that's good. Yeah, it's first YouTube stream. Bear with me. Also, I have... Oh, that actually works. Neat. Like, I didn't know how much I would feel like talking today, so I decided to put a YouTube video for me in the background, just so I can, if nothing else, I can just work quietly for myself and, you know. One thing that we could do would be like a take on those vertical wind turbines, you know, the ones that go like whoop, 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 whoop. I have no idea how these work, but they look cool. Like, they don't look like they should be making as much electricity, but I mean, apparently they work, so yeah. Right, so how does this? It's like a specific shape of wing around a thing, but I don't think we need to be that precise with it, to be entirely honest. So we have like a central pillar. And then like wings that kind of go around it in like right, so there'd be like one that came from behind here, and then do this, like kind of like a double helix in a way. I don't know how to convincingly do those, so that's gonna be interesting. And actually, I just had a different idea, because this is very, very real life, very boring, right? Let me. Okay, here's theory time, and I don't know if this is in any way practical. Could you, in theory, create like a generator by having something pull two magnets apart? Like, I need to think this. In theory, this should be possible. Whether it's effective is a different matter, but in theory, like, okay, let me just right, so let's say, hypothetically, I need to drink something real quick, but let me explain this first. If you have, like, you have a magnet, right? This is a magnet. And this is, we're going to call this A. And you have a different magnet. And we're going to call this one B. Right, and this one is like they're like polar yeah, opposite polars, oppositely polarized, whatever. So they attract each other, right? So this is a north one, this is a south one. They attract each other. Now, in order to, like, once they actually touch, right? Bonk, they touched. If you now wanted to separate these out again, you'd need to put energy into it, right? So yeah, I could imagine if you had like let's say this is like armchair engineering brain at work here. If you have your two magnets here and here, and this magnet is fixed, this one won't move, it's fixed to the ground. But then you have oh god, how would you even do that? You have this one attached to like a screw. This is a screw, shut up. And like this goes into like a thing, right? So as this magnet moves in either direction, it will turn the... That's all right. I'm just talking this through in my brain. I need this for myself. Don't worry about it. It will turn this thing, right? It will turn this screw when it moves forwards and backwards. So if you were then to attach a second magnet at the end of this, somehow, that magnet would also be spinning. when... Oh god, when B moves, C spins. That is the basic idea. So if you were now to okay, if you were now to attach a sail to B, if you were now to attach a sail to B, like this is a sail, right? You attach a sail to B, and the wind that goes into the sail is not like, it's not constant, right? It fluctuates. So the result of that would be B either moving towards C, or with C or whatever, in that direction, when the wind is strong, or when the wind kind of passes, it moves towards A because of magnetism. That seems horribly inefficient, but it's just good enough for a science fiction setting. We're gonna use that. So, let's build a concept out of that. Right? So we'd have like... We're gonna start by a cube. Simple shapes. We don't even need to particularly explain like the interior workings of this. This is just for my own understanding. And we have a... like a lever that goes into the box here. Okay, so this will have to be in like depth layers. This will be a little bit complicated. Not complicated, but like interesting to draw. We just have a box, right? Standard box, project box from like fucking, I don't know. What's that American shop called again that somehow still... Radio Shack? Right, you go to Radio Shack, you get yourself a project box. This is that. We have a box. There we go. And then out of the box, we have these kind of handles. On both sides, and I'm just... yeah, that seems about right. There we go. So we can bring that down like this. So we have these two handles. Presumably this handle would first have to be a little bit thinner and a little bit longer, I think. Perspective. Difficult. Es difícil. It looks good enough. It certainly does look good enough. Let's adjust our shape here a little bit. Even though I suspect with this one, shape will not be a major player. Because like the silhouette in the end will be, at least from the way that I am illustrating this right now, it'll just be a square. For once the lines are more important. Or maybe. We'll see. There we go. And the next detail step is like to have a shaft that basically goes like this. And like the whole magnet thing that I talked about, that will be internal. Like you'd have a magnet in there somewhere. Although we can imply that. We probably should imply that. So let's start by just having a circular shape here. A little something like this. And we can kind of god, fucking... It's my worst nightmares, cylinders. We'll get through this, don't worry. We'll get through this, it just might take a moment to get this right. This is off. This is very off. That's okay. I take it. It's completely alright. So yeah, we'd run like a big cable into this, I guess, or something. There we go. And we take our brush. Get in there with the silhouette again. This is important. And then we... How would that even work? Oh god, how would that even work in perspective, more importantly? We'd have like the sail. This is a wild idea and I kind of love it. But also, what am I thinking? So you'd have like this kind of structure. Just a big floppy square. There we go. Bring it in a little towards the bottom there. That's quite all right. And then we basically just... First of all, we define the shape of the pencil again. And like all the hard work that I've put in over the last few years in like establishing my line confidence when it comes to character work, that's all gone for these big shapes because yeah. Just not gonna happen. Doesn't need to happen, to be entirely honest. Like, it's fine. I'm not working for a studio, I'm not using this to like apply to a job. Not that I'm good enough in Illustrator to even apply to anything. So yeah, there's that. Let's put some just some basic shit down. Some basic shapes to kind of imply patchwork, because that's always neat. Right, and then you'd have like I guess you just connect these up just like this, and then this, and then this. And the idea would be, as like the wind comes in stronger or less strong, it would cause vibration in this generator thing. As it moves back and forth, which would then logically be electricity. I mean, it makes sense in my brain, and I probably explained it poorly earlier, but it does make sense to me. So that's neat. And this can be like this. just to imply that it's kind of secured in some way. You would have to kind of see it in motion to understand how it actually works, but then again I see... Sorry for the ruckus in the background. If you can even hear that, I'm not entirely sure. But I can hear it, and so can you, probably. Yep, you sure can. Okay. Let's give this, even though this doesn't have much going for it, let's give it a little bit of detail. And then also a little bit of shading. That just seems appropriate. I could see myself using both ideas. Hi Nitro, how are you doing? Yeah, sorry, platform changes are difficult. But I think like it makes sense for this to be on YouTube, because then it's straight on the designated channel and it is like archived. Damn. It is archived right where it belongs. Like right next to the game dev logs that I've done and that I'm gonna do. Next thing I'll be on Kick. I gotta be entirely honest, I don't know what Kick is. And at this point I'm afraid to ask. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a thing called Kick when I was like a teenager. And it was like I want to say a chat service or something like that. Oh, you found... Oh, that's pretty neat. That is actually pretty neat to know that the whole recommendations thing works. No, I do also stream on Twitch. But it's more like video games and like being a VTuber and shit. And here I'm just gonna stream like game related shit in the sense of like making game related. That's true, they do allow multi-platform streaming now, do they? Like, I think Twitch changed that. Like, I've seen that, what's his face? Duck did a live stream on YouTube and Twitch simultaneously. Which, that's it's neat if they allow their partners to do that. I can appreciate that. Stop now that Twitch came to sense. Yeah, fair enough. If this is like... Oh god. If we just do this, that should be convincing enough shadow. And we just put some smudgies on there. You know what? No, I'm gonna pull that down a little bit more. There we go, and then we're gonna smudgy. There we go. You can follow me on Twitch. That would be nice, would be appreciated, but you also don't have to. Like, I'm doing this specifically because I want the content to be a little bit split up. Because this is like, this entire stream is like the lowest effort that I could possibly put into it. I don't even have, like, I'm using literally the same setup that I use for my other streams. What is happening today? I'm using the same setup that I use for everything else. I'm just not using 90% of it because it's all branded. So I do like this secondary idea a lot of like the sales. I could see myself kind of combining it. So this would be 3 windmills. I could see myself. Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. But thank you for being here. I appreciate that. It's really nice not like screaming into the void. Let's make another new, because I kind of want to play with the idea of seeing those two that we just came up with, but in practice. Ooh, also thank you. I haven't really done much consistent words, apparently. I haven't done consistent words yet. I haven't really done consistent concept art before. So this is kind of a new step, but I think it's important to get a... It's not the... It is the 14th. Okay, that's fine. So this will be slightly different. Let me find the shade. I want to keep that also consistent, or at least somewhat consistent. Like, let's assume that we are... Ha. Okay, this is the first challenge. We need to figure out how to actually do like environmental concept art, because I haven't done that before. So this is all kind of new. Also, I said I need to drink something like 10 minutes ago and I haven't. And Nitro doesn't have his hydrate redeems on here, so he's probably chomping at the bit. Yeah, let's put down some more gray. Like, I don't know. This one might go completely wrong. This just might turn out shit. It might very well just turn out really badly. But that is part of the learning process, and we need to face what we can't do yet and make it happen. So bear with me. Is all I can really say, I guess. We can't just do that, can't we? There we go. Just kind of follow the natural lines that the pencil, not the pencil, the brush left anyways. Because I have it set up in such a way that the whenever I use the brush, it'll automatically like change the color up ever so slightly with every brush stroke, I guess. Which results in these like micro textures, which is neat. And I can just use these and just kind of work off of them. The idea, the only thing that I've really decided hard on with the aesthetic, or relatively hard on, is that I kind of want this to be, I want the environment to be inspired by like northern European coasts, like a lot of rock and like sharp grasses and not a lot of trees, a lot of wind, that sort of deal. And so I kind of want to, how do I put this best? I'm kind of chasing this idea of seeing how you would adapt very stereotypical science fiction elements in that kind of environment, which is usually not the kind of environment that you see science fiction work in. Kind of the base idea was like, okay, what if we take Firefly, but instead of making it like the Wild West but in space, this is more like Norway but in space or something like that. Or like Sweden in space. Denmark in space. Denmark is probably pretty good. It's not quite Arctic yet. It's not that cold. But it is rough. It is a rough coast. I think that will make a lot of sense. So now we've got a rock, which is nice. Let's put in some stuff. There we go. Okay, I'm glad that kind of resonates. That's like one of the things that I'm actually a bit nervous about, is like, can I even vocalize that in a way that makes sense? But if it sticks with you, then that's a good first step. If I could make that understandable. So what was the design that we went for here? Like a triangular, like this, roughly. And like where would it be going? It would be like this, right? And then like this. Oh god. It is already becoming janky. But yeah, like roughly like that. This is further in the distance, this is smaller, the detail doesn't need to be as good. Oh, I will, don't worry. I intend to make this a thing. I intend to stick with it, and hopefully I haven't overscoped as much this time as I had last time. That would be nice if I could actually like realistically finish this. Now this would be, I kind of want like a platform here. Now the question is, where do we put the fucking sails? Because the idea was like, okay, we're gonna use the sails like as well as the kind of like hybrids. But how what would that even look like? What would that even look like? Now that I think about it. Because like, okay, so I'm having the issue right now that from a distance away it would just be squares is the problem that I'm having right now. So I'm thinking, just out of practicality, we're probably gonna abandon the sail idea for that very reason. Because it would be something that would be mostly observed from a distance. But from a distance it's mostly squares, which is not great. Maybe something will come to me tonight as I like sleep and reflect over this. But for now, I guess we're just put it in the back pocket for now. So it's a good thing that we did this. So we can figure that out earlier rather than later. But we might as well just keep going with this picture and kind of maybe establishing other things. Like, I do like the idea of having... I keep pressing the wrong button. Of having like certain buildings just... Okay, let's make it a little darker still. Having buildings that are kind of built into the cliff. But I haven't really thought about building design yet, so this might just be a throwaway. Or it probably will be a throwaway. So we'd have this. Roughly be like this. And then it's just like maybe like a really ghetto version of like a switch. What are those called? Switchworks, I guess. I guess you'd call them that. And this will really... This will really put all of my perspective drawing skills to the test, because I feel like it's already horrible. Like, it's already inconsistent and kind of bad, but I'll improve with that. I'll improve when it comes to that as time goes by. I promise. So we could have like these. And then it's kind of like, it's the same idea, but it like keeps getting more precarious as it moves up the mountain. Somehow, I don't know. Like bring those over there. Actually, bring like one just dangles off of that. And then the other goes like over to that in a way that nobody would ever build it in real life, but you know, this ain't that. And then I think quite naturally you'd have like you'd have like tooling that would allow whoever works here to like monitor things, and this would be like, it could be as sophisticated as having like, I don't know, like a big like satellite dish or something here, and like a bunch of antennas and stuff, but also really low-key by just having a, you know, just a windsock. Windsocks work. And then maybe you'd have like the actual living place of the person. Be like here. Let's go over this with some pen. Pencil, I guess. It's not pen, it's pencil. Different things. I mean, yeah, this kind of works. Doesn't need to be perfect. There we go. We bring that in here. A little bit of a complicated design, but that's all right. Can't all be easy. And again, I'm kind of, I need to get into the headspace with this of I am allowed to discard all of this if I don't want it. Like if I end up not feeling very strongly about any idea, I am fully allowed to just get rid of it. No questions asked. Like, I don't need to be efficient with this. The whole point of this is to figure out what I want and what I don't want. And that means filtering out what I don't want. Right. And we presumably have like this building looks kind of stupid. It is kind of boring. And I guess like just by size comparison, a person would be roughly this, right? So doors roughly like this shape and size. This would be a very big building. I don't know. I don't think I like this. I think this is too industrial, and it seems too efficient. And I'm gonna immediately give myself notes for that. So yeah, we're just gonna nice and red, like the director of the film. Just like, there we go. To industrial. I want to see the guts. Yeah, I definitely want to see the guts that are in there. But hey, that's the kind of exploration that we do. That's what it's for. Just neat. Well, let's jam on that then. Let's copy. Let's make a new page. This is not cliffs anymore. Like, I guess like a transformer? No. There we go. Let's play in the space. Let's figure out no, I don't want the actual fucking no. Okay, fine. Yeah, I guess I guess this is like the most common design. What you'd see most often is basically just a box. Okay, so let's. There we go. This is what we want to play. Get our oil paints. So the basic idea here is to have a box, and it's usually a little bit more like this kind of rectangular we go. It goes in a while. Right, this is our box. It is a bit not quite right, but it falls under the category of good if fucking enough. I think I want to make it slightly taller and make like the, there we go. Actually, I think I want to make this ever so slightly not as much. And this ever so slightly more. That's too much. It needs to be at least a little bit. There we go. I think that's good enough. There we go. Drawing a cube. Which I do think I want it a little bit wider. It's not even a cube, it's a cuboid, isn't it? It's not like all sides are the same. Okay, so now let's get into the actual bits. So what do we have inside of a transformer? How does that shit work? We're gonna watch a instructional YouTube video together to figure out how a transformer works. It's only 5 minutes long, that's fine. I'm also gonna... Hold on. Let me just... There we go. Does this capture? It does capture, perfect. So we're just gonna figure out how this works.
Transformers are capable of receiving AC power at one voltage and delivering it at another voltage. In this way, they help achieve better transmission efficiency while transferring the power over longer distances.
Fascinating.
In this video, we will go through the working and construction of a three-phase transformer by starting from its simplest form. The basic working principle of a transformer is simple: electromagnetic induction. According to this principle, a varying magnetic flux associated with a loop will induce an electromotive force across it.
Okay.
Such a fluctuating magnetic field can easily be produced by a coil and an alternating EMF system.
Okay.
A current-carrying conductor produces a magnetic field around it. The magnetic field produced by a coil will be as shown in the figure.
Oh boy.
With the fluctuating nature of the alternating current, the magnetic field associated with the coil will also fluctuate. This magnetic flux can be effectively linked to a secondary winding with the help of a core made up of ferromagnetic material.
Okay. So far this makes sense. And I'm really more interested in the bits that we need.
This fluctuating magnetic field will induce an EMF in the secondary coils due to electromagnetic induction. Since the turns are arranged in a series, the net EMF induced across the winding will be the sum of the individual EMFs induced in each turn.
Okay. So we need two coils and a
Since the same
wire in
magnetic
between,
flux is passing through the primary and here,
and then
use
probably
three
like
such single-phase
multiple of
transformers,
them.
but with a slightly different coil configuration. Two more such windings are employed in a three-phase transformer.
Okay.
Transformers with high power ratings generally employ a special kind of winding.
Come on. Don't you fucking break on me now. Please. Okay, but I think I got the gist of it. It's like 3 coils with a metal thing in between them and then just cooling.
Various kinds of energy loss happens while...
There we go. So, based on our verdict of we want to see the guts, let's start over. Let's start over with this. We're gonna... Just gonna get ourselves those 3 coils, essentially. Just, and then there's a thing that runs through all of them. At the top and at the bottom. And then this obviously needs like kind of a frame to be in. But unlike like a real thing, we're not gonna close this. We're not gonna close it. We're gonna leave it open. Because again, we want to see the guts. And then we have like wiring, I guess. I don't know how that would actually work, but it doesn't really matter. And like have that go from there and then into here. That's very big. So if we do this, and then we just also imply that it goes onto the other ones, and we can do this. And yeah, that would actually would kind of do it, wouldn't it? So let's slap some pencil on there. I do like to put some rocks in there just to place it a little bit in an environment. You know, probably won't make much sense in this specific case. But hey, it is what it is. I'll draw some straight lines there. Still a little bit handheld, just to preserve the feeling. Ooh, that's quite ugly. Quite an ugly intersection there. What's it called? A tangent. That's what it's called. A tangent. Something that is tangential to another thing. Looks bad. Usually. So we have kind of a frame here. Just neat. Let me just make this a complete thing. And again, this doesn't need to be perfect, I don't think. So long as it's readable and good enough. Like we want, like, oh god, it is not perfect at all, but then again, quick prototyping. I'm gonna get better at this. Don't you worry. Quick turnaround. Break it and break it fast, right? And then we have like coils in here. There we go, and that's just like a bunch of wire, and we're just gonna imply that obviously because we drew an entire fucking coil, we'd go insane. So I'm not gonna do that. Just gonna slightly go with the curve and make it bigger around here. Make it smaller. And then we have several of them. This might take a while to like actually realize, especially if I can't draw straight lines. But hopefully it'll be enough to get the idea across. That would be nice. We could get like the basic idea across. This would still be this coil, I guess. And then we have a secondary coil. We're just going to imply the same kind of structure. And then we have a tertiary coil. Which again, not geometrically perfect. But it gets the idea across, I think. And then we just put in some straight lines here. And there's like stuff up here, which is like part of the wiring, I guess. I don't know. I'm not an electrical engineer. I just need this to be convincing enough. So we'll just put like little these here. And like bigger ones here, because that's the one that's coming in or whatever. I don't fucking know. Just gonna run some cableage across these. Doesn't have to make much sense. There we go. Bring them in. Maybe this one's a bit too taut. Let me just bring this in down here as like a thick cable that goes somewhere, I'm sure. And we have another thick cable that runs up here somehow. Don't question it. Looks like a little base for this. That it's mostly straight. And it goes off into the distance to connect to some other place, I think. And this is also like a thing. There we go. Connect those up. And those go off somewhere. Let's set our scale. I want this to be a page filler. There we go. This would be like 5 transformer. There you go. Let's make this kind of coherent at least. There we go. Okay, let's go over the shape, because we did end up having a lot of empty space in here. Lots of negative space that I kind of want to, that I do kind of want to point out, although I don't think like that. I do think I want a little bit more movement in this, in a way. And I do want it to be a little bit more slightly more ramshackle. So what if we put like just like a gable roof over it? Because I think that would be kind of fun. Because that's not something that you associate with like these things, is it? Generally speaking. Like you don't exactly expect like a corrugated steel roof, like it's a shack. This should roughly do the trick. I think this is kind of looking interesting, just from a shape perspective. So I'm gonna hold on to that. That doesn't really work, does it? No. It would have to go to like here, I want to say, roughly, and then from there up to here. No, that's not quite right. That's neither of these are quite right. I think it would be more like this, wouldn't it? No. Wait, is this actually correct the way I drew it the first time? I'd be thoroughly surprised, but it is... No. No, of course it isn't. It has to come in. Otherwise the perspective is broken, but it may not be as dramatic as I thought it would be. It just needs... Like, where does this... Yeah, thereabouts. It reads well enough. It's good enough. Just about. There we go. And with that, it almost feels like... It almost feels like it has a slightly, like, rural Japanese influence to it. Which wasn't intentional, but I will very much take that. Like, I feel like that's a neat influence to have. I don't know if anybody else can see that, but it's kind of like the roof and everything in combination kind of do give me that vibe. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's put some shadow on this. Actually, we can just use normal and just manually go a little bit darker. Generally speaking, all of this will be in shadow. Because it is under a roof. So generally speaking, all of this will be in shadow because it is under a roof. We're gonna normal that. There we go. This too. Let's put everything in shadow and then figure out which parts shouldn't be. Well, the rock certainly shouldn't be because that's outside, so that gets maybe like this. Same for this one. Okay. So let's figure out where our sun is, and then we can just... Maybe we'll just give it a slight... Just have it come from there. And like... where would that hit? Like here, and then... I don't know, I'm kind of eyeballing this. There we go, and then it kind of comes in here and then falls off very strongly around there. There we go. These wouldn't be lit because they're pointing in the wrong direction. This might... No, that wouldn't be lit either. We would start around here. And I think the major thing about these is one of the major things is I do want the wind to play a role. So I kind of want indicators for wind when I can. I'm thinking about even like even writing like a global wind thing so the wind can actually change direction dynamically and all that. I think about it. I'll have to consider that. So I'm thinking maybe we just add like just a few cloth pieces. I think those are always cool. And I think in this case specifically they could work very well. They just move around, like around the structure. There we go. I think that's all right. That doesn't actually look too bad. I'm gonna call this little session here. We got these windmills. We got, oop, what did I just do? Got the windmills. What did I just do? Delete. No, don't do that. We got the cliffs, which I'm not too happy with. But we got this, which is good. I'm gonna give myself notes again here. So if we just say Good. Need to make sure that my handwriting is very legible on this. Good. What am I doing? This is all uppercase. So we like the roof. There we go. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end this particular session of doing some concept art here. It's gonna be a lot more. This is gonna be quite the endeavor. And there might be multiple streams per day. Probably will be. Will not do all of my concept art on stream, just some of it. But yeah, I'll see you around. And thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. How the fuck do I end this? Do I just end stream? Is that what I do?